Welcome to Behind the Veil. Now, here is your transformational coach, Tammy Hawks.
Okay, so Sarah, go ahead and let's dive into your current situation. So, tell me how long you've been married and kind of what's going on with the marriage currently.
Okay, so we actually haven't been married very long. We've been married since March. We've been together for a year in March, and then so what is that? March, April, May, June, July, August. So about a year and a half total. So really, it's not that long that we've been married. I think it's just surprised us both how many issues we've had in such a short period of time. And in some ways, I don't know how hard or easy really a relationship or marriage is supposed to be at this point in my life anymore. So for me, I'm always used to hard and difficult. So I was just like, well, let's just trudge through. Like, I love you and I'll do this and everything. And, or I want to do this. And, where we're at now is, we just had some differences in opinion on how to treat one another. I mean, we both love each other very much. And so it wasn't out of not wanting to love one another, but we're at a place now where I can see that my husband is really trying. He's really doing a lot of things differently to try, not just to please me, but I think he realized the error of some ways that he was doing some things. But the other part of that is it's kind of like almost like the tables switched, because we had an incident where, we both had drank and things got out of hand and, it got abusive, but just that moment that night. And it was awful because I've been through that several times in my life prior to ever knowing him. So it brought back a lot of stuff for me. And obviously we'd been drinking, so it wasn't something that would normally ever happen. And I think it just caused him to let down some walls, or I don't know. It's not my fault, I know, but you know what I'm saying? We're healing from there at this point, I guess is where I'm saying. I'll babble, so you gotta stop me.
Yeah. Let me stop you right there. Okay. So, because you've identified a pattern there. So now I want to go back. You said, I have attracted physical abuse in the past. So tell me how far back that goes. Does it go all the way back to childhood?
I've thought about that. No, I wasn't physically abused in childhood. My parents were good parents. I was bullied by kids, though. I don't know how that is exactly relatable, but in some ways I think it is, because I was a very friendly, loving little child. And for whatever reason, it just wasn't well received and caused, trouble for me. Or pain, I guess. And then as I got older, it seemed like honestly, the boys I would meet through school and things like that, they were not very nice to me. They were not very kind to me, but those are the ones that I was more interested in. And then
you said you were interested in the boys that were not very nice to you.
I didn't recognize that that's what was happening, but it's not like I sat there and thought, oh, I'm going to pick the mean one or something.
Right,
but
right.
It seemed like the ones that were just less kind to me, less kind in general, would be the ones that I would, for some reason, find more attractive, or they seemed more strong or something. I don't know. But into my adulthood, for sure, any serious relationship I had some sort of something in it. My first marriage, I was 20, he was 30, so there's a big age difference. There really wasn't much physical of anything. He shoved me a couple of times, but that's really, it was more the way he treated me. And I would leave and come back and leave and come back. And then my second marriage, there was definitely physical abuse, not only with me, but he was abusive to like the kids. He would only take it so far with them, but it was definitely a present thing. And then after that separation,
let's go into that one a little more. How violent did he get towards you? What did he do to you?
Well, I never ended up in the hospital or anything like that. It was a lot more verbal, like emotional, psychological intimidation. And then eventually, there was just one night where we had been arguing, but he kind of like attacked me. He just hurt me. He bit me and spit on me and slapped me and threw me around and choked me. And that was, that happened one time. I did leave eventually, and then I came back, and then he hit me, and eventually I had to leave. But the whole way of, he did a lot of threatening all the time, and a lot of, holding me, pinning me against the wall, or not letting me move, or, things like that.
Lots of control.
Yes, lots of control. And
can you track that back to your childhood at all?
loss of control, or being
Like
controlled.
in your childhood, did you have one parent that was more controlling than the other?
I guess so. It seemed like my dad was obviously, I mean, I grew up in church, so I had my dad as like the leader of the home, but then my mom, but she was kind of emotionally unstable due to her own trauma in her past that she never dealt with. And so she would have a lot of outbursts and a lot of just moments, I guess you would say. And I didn't understand what those were growing up, but not until I got older. But it would seem like that definitely set the tone.
Mm-hmm.
A person's emotional condition in the moment set the tone for every single other person in the house. So, if she was freaking out or something, then everything stopped, or it changed a different direction, or, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But as far as control,
that is a form of control though, isn't it?
it is, but well, when you say it like that, but I don't think it was intentional per se. It was just, my dad was just doing the best he could to like help her in the best way he knew how. And due to my mom also having the background she came from, she was fairly strict with us, not anything different though than I think people are now, but a little bit more, because it came from a little bit more of a biblical perspective, and I didn't really understand or appreciate it at the time. And I grew up pretty rebellious because of
mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm. So you also had religious trauma. So it sounds like your mom was the controller in the relationship.
Yes, but I'm not trying to like demonize her or anything. She's a very good person and awesome mom. And
there's no demonizing. There's no right or wrong, right? The reason why we are the way we are is because of our own upbringing. And so we could just look at it through neutral eyes, right? Like she is just a product of her own childhood. So there's no demonizing. However, in order for us to change the pattern, we have to look at it with those neutral eyes, right?
Okay.
So I'm just going to call you to see it neutrally, but then also speak your unique truth, because this is your opportunity to be really honest with yourself.
Okay.
So of either mom or dad, who did you emulate the most who do you emulate now in your adult life more, mom or dad?
I am just like my mother.
Okay.
And I did not want to be, I can remember so many times saying, like, I mean, there's parts of me that are different, of course, but my dad is definitely calmer. He doesn't have outbursts. I don't think I saw him cry growing up, maybe once or twice or anything. So he's like very strong, very reserved. He's had those moments, I know, but he's not one to just break down.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I feel like I inherited
was there any abuse? And when I say abuse, this could also mean I grew up like that, very religious, and in my family, they believed it was a sin to not spank us. And the way that was used, it was in a very inappropriate way with an object, and they took it very far because they believed it was biblically based. So sometimes when we think abuse, we don't think some of the other stuff. So my quote unquote discipline growing up what was actually abuse. So was there any of that in the home growing up?
I will actually, now that you say that, I will say there was one time my mom came to me and she said, because I was a very angry child, passionately seethed with anger, it felt like, for years. And I didn't understand it. I didn't know why I was so angry. My parents would ask me, why are you so angry? I would say, I don't know. And it was directed towards my mom mostly. But one day she came to me and she said, I just want to let you know that these feelings you feel, these emotions, these anger, I mean, it's not, you're not crazy. It's not for no reason. I feel like I was abusive to you when you were younger. I have no memories of this. I have no recollection whatsoever. And she said, I was really harsh with you. I spanked you and I shouldn't have. Or, she said things, and to me it sounded very like mild, especially considering what I've experienced as an adult, or what I've even seen my own children experience.
Mhm.
So I was kind of like, well, okay. But it did kind of make me open my eyes to maybe, okay, maybe that is why I was so angry. But my parents did believe in, spare the rod, spoil the child. And they'll say, like, we probably spanked you guys when we didn't need to. Now, I'm the oldest. I probably got spanked more than anybody. And my sisters learned not to do whatever I did to get in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And, I did get
Okay,
whooped quite
so
a
let
bit.
me, I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt you right there.
No, it's fine.
This I see a lot with my clients where they don't remember the abuse. So it's almost like I see your dynamic with your mom. You are a lot like her. You were angry at her, which means you probably have a lot of resentment there, at least as a young child, and you probably still carry some if you haven't, sort of done the body work to release it. And my guess is that there was a lot of abuse. I see with my clients that most of the time spankings, it shows up in the subconscious mind as abuse. So parents didn't like, we got to give our parents grace because they didn't know what they were doing. They were doing exactly what they thought they were supposed to do. Okay. But it doesn't mean it doesn't imprint on the subconscious mind and cause us a lot of trauma, because it does. So I would say that you probably did receive a lot of abuse, because I know that if we get to our adulthood and we have these patterns, I almost always with my clients track it all the way back to those first 5 years. Sometimes you have no recollection. The first time my father hit me, I was an infant. I have no memory of it. However, I have all the indicators because I know psychology. I have all the indicators of very early abuse. So the reason why you have that anger, why you have that bitterness is for a reason. And like I said, we don't need to judge, but we do get to look at it, right? So let's fast forward a little bit. Now that we have a good picture of like your childhood, now I want you to go to your adulthood. And then I also want to give you a little grace too, because for me coming into my healing process, I took the patterns that I learned, the abusive patterns I learned, and I did the exact same thing with my kids. I was the controller. I was abusive, I would even say, towards my kids before I went through my healing journey. And I had to forgive myself because I was just replicating the pattern I learned, which is what we all do. So I'm giving you that grace, letting you know that we all do it. So let's fast forward. Right? Here you are, an adult, you got married the first time at 20 years old and he was 30. And that marriage lasted how long?
6 years.
6 years.
Yes.
Okay. And what was your experience overall in that marriage? Why did it end?
Well, I can tell you that the reason it began in the first place wasn't like how, like I knew I didn't really want to do that, but I was kind of committed because I had already said, that I was committed. And because of my biblical upbringing, I didn't want to be sleeping with someone outside of marriage. And so I was like, well, we got to get married or this can't work, which is pretty heavy to put on somebody who has they don't feel that way. So the marriage itself, so obviously wasn't built on a strong foundation of love and support and friendship or anything like that. So it's just a lot of fighting, a lot of me leaving and coming back, a lot of, I think, trying to cope with things through smoking a lot of weed, which is what I used to do then. And then, being that I was still living with my parents when I was 20, and I had already had my first son when I was 19, so he was still a toddler, but my parents helped watch him, and I still felt so like I had no freedom, and so I met this person who was older who I could drink with and who could, take me out and stuff, and I just went for it. I'm glad I did, because I had I had 2 children, but in retrospect, it was just a very, you look back and you're like, that was not a great choice. It wasn't, because we didn't love each other, and it was just a lot of, the dynamic was really off.
So I've
So
noticed you've said with at least 2 of the relationships that you've mentioned so far that you have this pattern of leaving and then going back and leaving and going back. Where does that come from?
I don't know. You mean, did my mom ever leave and come back or something like that? Is that what it is?
Well,
One
I
of those
mean,
things?
I'm just wondering where the pattern stems from,
I don't know.
how far back it goes.
I don't know. I mean, I left because it just got to be too much. And then, of course, when you leave and someone wants you to come back, they promise you everything. They say everything will change and get better. And then, in my experience, if you come back, those are just nice words to say to trick you, because they don't really care about you, the person. They just care that you're not gone, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, so what was that belief again? Because that was a good one. They don't really care. Say
No,
that
they
again
don't.
for me. They
They
don't.
don't really. They don't really care about you as a person. They just care that you're not gone. They just want you to be there. And I think that's just
Okay, so
because.
I want you to pause there because
Okay.
that's a belief that just popped up. This is one we get to look at. They don't really care about me. They just want me there. Is that the belief?
Yes, I mean, it feels that way once you come back, because.
Okay, so tap into that really.
Mhm.
Stay in that moment, okay?
Okay.
And I want you to literally feel that emotion in your body. Close your eyes real quick for me. And I want you to, this will be the first thing that pops up, but first impression, there's a place in your body where this emotion is stored. They don't really care about me. They just want me there. First impression, I want you to put your right hand on that place in your body. There you go. What color is it? First impression.
Red.
Yep. There you go. Now I want you to take that red, keep your eyes shut, and I want you to take that red and I want you to start to pull it out. Start to pull it out physically with your hands. And I want you to keep pulling until you get all of it out, because that shit hides. And I'm going to tell you, as you're pulling, I'm going to tell you what this actually is. The first 2 languages we learn when we're born, I want you to keep pulling until you get all of it out. You're going to feel it. You're going to feel an emotional release in your body. And as those emotions are coming up, I want you to let them come. Do not hold the tears back. Okay. Let them come. There you go. Perfect. Recognizing that the tears are releasing negative ions in your body. You're literally releasing negative emotion trapped in the body. There you go. Pull it. There you go. There you go. Keep pulling until you get it all. Let the tears come. Don't hold it back. We got to get them unstuck. We got to get them out of you. And I'm going to explain to you what the first two languages we learn when we're born to this world is emotion and color. And that's why this works. That's why you're having this emotional reaction.
I don't want to cry.
It's okay. It's good to cry. You're releasing negative emotion. Breathe, breathe. Did you get it all, or do you have more in there?
Oh, I have so much stuff in there.
Yeah, that's good. Pull it out. You're going to feel so good.
I see it like red and just like long black roots or strings, or just it's gonna be like a big black hole.
Keep pulling. Keep pulling. As you pull, you're going to feel better. You got to keep pulling it out. Keep pulling. There you go. You're doing great. Keep pulling. Yeah. Do you feel any release? First impression, did the color change as you're pulling it out? Is it changing?
I don't know.
I want you to keep your eyes shut.
Okay.
And I want you to keep pulling till you get it all.
Okay.
Just know that it's going to feel good once it's, there you go.
Like yellow.
It's getting yellow. Okay. That's good.
Soft, maybe yellow.
Perfect. Did you get it all?
Thanks.
Okay.
Yes.
Keeping your eyes shut, I want you to recognize that it's formed a big ball in front of you, a big yellow ball in front of you. At this point, I've started to take our guest through a process I use to tap into her subconscious mind and uncover her childhood trauma. This helps me to gain a deeper insight into her experiences and how they have shaped her current relationships. We are now going to the conclusion of the process. That's right. Take a deep breath in. How do you feel?
Lighter, maybe relief.
Yeah.
Some sense of just less heavy.
Yeah, it's exactly right. Did you feel the electricity moving through your body?
I did. Yes, I did. That's crazy.
Yeah, we literally changed your entire consciousness in those moments. Beautiful, right? Okay.
Yes.
Now, I want to go into it feels good, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I could literally see the energy change. You shifted so massively. You're almost unrecognizable. Yeah, what does it feel like in your body?
I just feel I feel happier.
Yeah.
How is that possible to feel that way in a moment?
Because we release something in you that you've been hanging on to a very, very long time. A very long time. See, because this belief that we uncovered within you, it's actually called a life command. And a life command is a limiting belief that you inherited very early on in your experience, which is they don't really care about me. They just want me around. They just want me there. And so that's actually been stamped onto your subconscious mind and you've been carrying it your whole life. So if I asked you to take me back to the very first time you felt that emotion and you'd give me access to your subconscious mind would take me right there. So this is a belief that you get to work on. Because a belief, our entire identity is created by beliefs. And this belief has created your personality.
Yeah, I guess
which is why you have that pattern of leaving and going back and leaving and going back, right? So now I want to talk about the patterns that are the most damaging to your current relationship. They're probably going to be the same or very, very similar because that's how it tends to work. But I want to dig into that to see if we can have any more big, profound shifts. Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
So current marriage, current new marriage,
Mm-hmm.
give me the top couple of biggest challenges.
Well, he grew up really kind of rough. I mean, his parents loved him, but they were really tough, and his dad would cuss him out, yell at him. He got kind of abused physically for punishment. As he'll say, how his dad took it too far, but they pushed him, and he was a star in his sport of choice, and he just did all these things. And then I say that because we've recently started trying to talk and get into things. So he's not that emotional, and he's not really intimate or physically affectionate. When I first met him, was very bubbly, very, full of life. And that's what he was attracted to at first, which is so funny because this is a repeat of every relationship I've ever had. My light seems to draw someone in, but then after they have me close, they want to snuff it out. I don't understand. But so, he ended up being kind of bothered by that. So this has been the dynamic since, the beginning, which was, you're too much, telling me I'm always too much, right? And then I need to tone it down. And then I toned it way, way down. And it broke my spirit, honestly, because I couldn't be this joyful, happy, silly person. And then I think I needed so much and still need so much from him emotionally. I need that connection with him, or I don't feel safe.
Why?
Why? Because I want to be close to him deeply. I want to know his heart. I want to really be close to him the way that I want someone to want to be close to me. I want someone to care about what's going on deep inside. So really our issues have been that. And then, when it came down to that night of that abusive moment happened, well, if we back up from that, I started to emotionally shut down for a while prior to us actually even getting married. So, when I start to get yelled at or things like that, I could disappear away from that moment. I'm not even there. I'm floating around somewhere else. They're yelling at a shell of a person, right? So he couldn't get reactions out of me. And I think that's what he was looking for. And, so he would start to say things like, well, you must like being hit, or you must like this. Now, this is before he ever did anything. And it's just because I think he did not, well, I really don't understand. I was having a lot of anxious reactions and reactions out of fear and stuff like that. Whenever I would think something or however, I would freak out on him, and he didn't know how to handle that. He would just get mad. He thinks that I think he's always doing something bad. I don't always think that. I just want to know exactly the exact things, because those are part of things that I'm struggling with now, that I don't have to always know, and you have to trust a person, like the benefit of the doubt type thing. But he would say some comments like that. And I think because I didn't have much of a reaction to him saying those things, I would just say, well, then do it, or just whatever. And then it wouldn't happen, and we would apologize and all this stuff.
You would
but that
say,
one,
just do what?
just do it. Well, if you're going to hit me, just do it. If you're going to just do it, you're threatening, go ahead and do it then, stuff like that. And I don't know really why I would say things like that. Obviously, I don't really want that to happen, but I can handle I can tell you, I would rather have physical anything than emotional and psychological everything. Like, it's the thought of things and not knowing is worse.
I'm gonna stop you right here. Okay. So I've identified another command of yours, and I've also identified a major one in him as well. I'm too much. So a command, like I said, is a limiting belief that's deep within you. Okay. It's what you believe about yourself. And it's come up several times in your story already. I'm too much. I'm too much. So close your eyes. There's a place in your body where this feeling of I'm too much stems from. First impression, put your hand on it. What color is it?
It's just dark.
It's dark. Okay. I want you to take it, pull it all out. Well, first off, I should ask you, is it okay to get rid of this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I have your permission to get rid of it. Okay. Start pulling it out. There you go. And I want you to keep pulling until you get it all out, because sometimes that shit hides, and we need to make sure we get it all out. If the emotion comes up, I need you to let it come up and out. It has to be emoted, has to be released, has to be let go of. And I'll just explain this as you're pulling. Emotions are energy in motion. Okay. Once they're emoted by you, they move out of your body. That's why it's important. That's why I keep telling you to stop holding in the tears or holding down the tears. You got to let them come up. That's right. You got to feel them fully. That's right. We have to let that little girl within you feel all that pain.
This one hurts so bad.
Yeah, keep pulling. Remember the relief you felt afterward. That's right. Is it changing colors as you're pulling it out?
It's just gray.
Yeah.
It's just the muted parts of everything that I just.
You're doing great, Sarah. Just keep pulling. You just let go of a whole lot of negative emotion. And if I don't remind you at the end, you're going to need a lot of water today. Okay. Cause it's kind of like,
My mouth is dry right now.
Is it? Do you have water handy?
I have diet water. Probably need water. I have this.
It's okay. You might just need to, because we just detoxed your body massively. By the way, this works for physical pain as well.
I feel kind of tired.
Yeah. Yep. Your body just worked really hard to eliminate a lot of old stuck energy within you. So it's quite massive. So this is the way that since we've identified two of your major commands, two of your limiting beliefs that are literally creating your life experience, you're going to have to go to town to really eliminate these. And the only way to do that is by creating an affirmation completely opposite of it. Darling, you could not be too much. All that is created you, put you in this beautiful divine form. Everything about you is exactly perfect. There's no flaw in you. You are absolutely divine and perfect as is. There's no changing that needs to take place. There's nothing that you need to be differently. You just are perfection. And you get to remind yourself of the perfection that you are. I want you to go back to the day that you were born, and I want you to hold your little infant self in your arms. And I want you to see the perfection of her being. She didn't have to do anything, did she? She just came in absolutely perfect. And as you hold her in your arms, I just want you to notice and recognize the light, that brilliant light that just beams from her. She is so absolutely perfect. She came straight from source. There's nothing she needs to do to be perfect because she just is. She's who you need to connect to every single day, every single morning. The same way you felt when your babies were placed in your arms for the very first time and you saw their perfect little form.
I will try.
And I want you to tell her all those things that I just told you. I want you to look at her every day. You're going to do exactly what you just did, where you're going to close your eyes and you're going to imagine yourself holding your little infant self. I want you to tell her all those things every day because she needs to be reminded. Because those first 5 years of life, you were told very different things. And unfortunately, you're still echoing those same records to this day that are contrary to truth, which is that you are just pure perfection. Yeah.
I'll have to write it down. I do good when I write stuff down.
Well, I will send you this. In fact, it would be really great for you to rewatch this
Okay.
more than once. Another thing that I identified is a limiting belief that your husband has, which is I am bad. So imagining how beliefs work, the identity creates the belief creates the thought creates the emotion, and the emotion creates the circumstances of our life.
No.
So he believes he's bad.
Mm-hmm.
So here's how you can support him in that belief is by doing the same thing to him. You are not bad. You are perfect. You need to affirm him in the truth that is, because you both came in as those perfect souls. And what happened to you in those first 5 years is you were told a lot of bullshit about who you are, and you not having the upper faculties of mind. Those first 5 years, we don't have the ability to reject information. So it goes all the way down, drops into our subconscious, and it becomes a part of our programming. So you get to help him and affirm him of who he is to the core of his being, not this personality that's been created by his life experiences, but the truth of who he is. You get to help him with that. Can you do that?
Yes, I can do that.
And what I know about your beliefs, as you start to nurture this new truth within you, all those circumstances that you spoke about, the patterns will start to disintegrate because they're just a product of those old shitty beliefs that no longer serve you. So when you have negative emotion that comes up, I want you to start to look at it. And I want you to say, where do I feel this coming from in my body? And the processes I took you through today, I want you to do that every day if you need to. When I was healing, I did this every single day. And it gets easier and easier and easier, right? So that's a practice it's a tool in your tool belt that will shift. So both those things, the affirmations, what I suggest is getting index cards.
Okay.
Get 5, 6, however many. I want you to fill them out with your affirmations. I am liquid love. I'm perfect exactly how I am. There's nothing I need to change. I am divine. And I want you to write those out on index cards, and I want you to put them in your bathroom, by your nightstand, in your car, everywhere you frequent. You need to be looking at that. You need to speak it out loud. You're in your car. You're connecting to who you really, really are. Because when you shift your identity, which is how you see yourself, how you identify yourself, you're going to change what you attract to yourself. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Are you going to do it?
Yes, I'm going to do it.
And what you'll find is you're not going to be okay with allowing certain behavior that the old you used to allow, because you don't believe you're worthy of that anymore. The only reason why you have these patterns is because you believe that that's what you're deserving of, which is just absolute fucking bullshit, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And I want to get to that place where I can, be confident that I should be happy with higher things instead of the lower,
Mm-hmm.
but it's easy to get drawn back into it when you don't, how you said, change your core beliefs, because those are what's going to keep pulling you back down and saying, no, you don't bother with, rising any higher. It's not going to matter.
Yeah, that's a
But I
belief,
want
isn't
that
it?
to be done. Mm-hmm.
Isn't that a belief? Because if I've
Mhm.
completely changed my consciousness, why can't you?
Mm-hmm.
So if I've done it, you can do it. I'm proof. And if you, I mean, it's the reason why, like I don't work with anyone less than 12 weeks. Like that's just my minimum, because I believe that in order for you to integrate that change, it's far more, it's easier to have someone to guide you, first of all. And second of all, you're integrating a brand new person, you're creating a brand new person from scratch. And so it can take time, but I've seen transformations happen just as fast as you transformed. I can read your energy. You are not the same person I saw at the beginning of this call.
I don't feel the same.
No.
That's crazy. And I was going to therapy, and I mean, I just ended up stopping for reasons, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't like it was bad at all, but I didn't feel any kind of change happening after like 2 months, not quite.
I mean,
And
I don't believe that if it's just straight talk therapy with no modalities meaning the tools that I gave you today, then the change is very slow going. Whereas then I'm like, let's do it fast. I'm always looking for the modalities and the tools that work the fastest. And it's just modern science right now is all that we know about the mind and the subconscious mind. It helps us to propel you faster. So if you want to go any
I'm all
further,
for that.
yeah, if you want to
Sorry.
go any further, then, you could just let me know and I'll take you as far as you want to go.
Okay.
But you have just been so brilliant. I was so proud of you, because I know the first time you started pulling the red, because see, I know what the colors mean. When you tell me the color, I know the emotion that's tied to all the colors. So I want to leave you with this one thing. Okay. So close your eyes, and there is a healing color. It's a bubble above your head. First impression, what color is that healing bubble above your head?
It's just like a brilliant color, like white.
White light. Okay. Brilliant white light. Okay. This is your healing color. This is the healing color that is available to you. So I want you to go ahead and expand that big, bright white bubble all around your body. There you go. And I want you to feel the intensity of the energy within this bright white bubble. That's right. I want you to feel that peace, that safety, that brilliance, that love. And I want you to let it penetrate each cell of your being. That's right. And with each beat of your heart and each breath that you take, I want you to allow that light to go even deeper, deeper, deeper into each and every cell. And I want you to see those cells opening up to receiving this bright, beautiful light. That's right. Deeper and deeper and deeper. And I want you to allow this to take place 24/7, integrated fully into your system, realigning, recalibrating you to the new set point of your being, the chosen set point, which is this bright light that is you. It is who you are. It is what you are. And anytime you need to feel that safety, I want you to wrap this around you. And then I want you to know that at any given time, you can give this to someone else.
How do I do that?
Just the way we did it. I want you to close your eyes, picture it around you. And sometimes when my husband and I are struggling, I will wrap it around both of us. And it will just switch everything in an instant. Everything will go to peace. And sometimes I expand it out to cover my entire house. And then I expand it out to cover my city. And then I expand it out to cover my entire world, so that everyone gets to experience the light that is me, that is you. Does that sound easy?
Yes.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
And so when we get done, oh yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to tell you when the colors thing, the ball that when I was pulling out of my chest, it was like there was light trying to come through. That was the yellow when you said the color, because this thing stayed red and ugly over here when I was doing that. But I thought of that later. I was like, wait a minute, I didn't want because it felt like the more I was pulling out, that I know within me there's more than just that. There has to be. And so it's like pushing down all those things, the light that I have or that was there, crowded out and covered with all the other stuff, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, well, you are light. You are light. You're pure light. So when those shadows come in, that's just where we're blocking the light. But you are light. You are a creative being. You're creating all your life experience. You're very fucking powerful. But you just didn't know that you were doing it. So you didn't necessarily create always what you wanted.
yeah, I don't think I knew that I was creating per se. But I guess we always are. And so if we're not aware, then we'll just create awful things, maybe.
Or just continue the patterns that we learned. That's why I believe that this work is going to change the world, because it's like once we change the pattern, we can create ourselves new identity every freaking day. We just have to have the tools to be able to do it. That's all.
Well, you've given me some good ones. I'll tell you that. I'm going to start off in the morning doing that instead of trying to sleep a little bit more. Maybe devote some energy to starting off my day by removing anything that's trying to revive those old beliefs, I guess. That's what you said, right? No, core beliefs. What did you call them?
The commands.
Okay, yes. I don't want those.
Yeah. Yeah. And you get to see when they pop up in your life, because, you know, they're very strong. And so you get to see in all the ways that these played out in your life and recognize it. And then when it comes up, don't judge it. Just look at it and say, oh, that's my old belief coming. So my two dominant ones were I'm unlovable and I'm not important. And they showed up in all the events. When I went back to the events in my life, that was the belief those were the beliefs dominant. And so when they pop up now, I just recognize them. Oh, so if I got hurt because a friend said this to me or did this to me, I just look at it and say, there's that belief popping up. And then I reformat it and say, nope, I don't choose that belief anymore. I know that I am love. So it's recognizing without judgment when they are still popping up, knowing that they'll be there until we transition, but we don't have to activate them. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So with epigenetics, we can turn off the markers, kind of like turning off a light. We could just go and say, nope, but just knowing that we get to choose in each moment what we're going to make true about ourselves and life.
That's kind of almost like a quote right there. You get to choose in each moment what you're going to make true. I like that a lot. I'll probably write that down on the index cards too.
Good.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. So each morning, just connect to the fact that you get to create it all, because you get to create the meanings, and nothing means anything except for the meaning you give it. We're all doing that. So, and let me know if I could help you out in any way. It's been so great to connect to you.
Yes, ma'am. It's been awesome. I appreciate the opportunity. I thank you so much for helping me.
Yeah. Do you have anyone else that might benefit from this?
Possibly. I could I'll ask my sisters, and then I have a friend that might be interested, because she might be interested.
Okay. Cool.
Yes, ma'am.
Yay. Well, you have a
Awesome.
wonderful day, and I will send you the recording once it's finished.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Hey, you're so welcome. Bye.
Okay. Bye.